and the spending of our tax dollars. And I don't know why you wouldn't be so angry you'd be ready to eat nails as this is evolving. And this is just the first release, and there's lots more and more to come on the malfeasance of the federal government. Well, that leads me to the financial world, which, you and I look to trying to circumvent our lives, save enough money so that when we get to a point in life what we typically refer to as retirement, we can retire. But let me say this. I have a report here. Retirement, how 87 is the new 65. and you laugh, Mike,
glad
at that.
to hear that.
but let's look at the reality. In 1890, there was a guy named Bismarck, an economist in Germany, said that German workers ought to be able to retire and receive some kind of government stipends at age 65. And life expectancy was 49 years old. Roosevelt came along, and we still, in our mind, we think Social Security about being retirement. Roosevelt didn't create Social Security about being retirement. Actually, they always talked about the three-legged stool. I don't know if you've heard that, but one-third of your retirement comes from Social Security. One-third should come from your savings, your own accumulated money, and one-third from a pension plan where you worked. And if you don't have a pension plan, you got to save more. And that's really what I focus on. But in the 1930s, life expectancy was 59 years old, and the age was still age 65 to retire. Well, here we are today. Retirement is now 67 for anybody born after 1960, but life expectancy is age 84. So how do we work for 30, 40 years and then retire and expect to be alive for 30, 40 years and have enough money to last us throughout our lifetime with adjustments for inflation and not run out of money? Mm-hmm. And so that leads me to the financial world and their advice. First off, the financial world have 4 rules. And the purpose of these 4 rules, in my opinion, is to keep you poor and broke. I want all your money, rule number 1. Number 2, I want more ongoing, regular payments. Number 3, I want to keep it forever. And number 4, I want to give back as little as possible. Now, if you don't think those rules are real, let me explain them a little bit. Number 1, I want all your money. If you have a job, you have a 401k at work, probably. If you work in a medical field or schools, you have a 403b or a state pension in Pennsylvania. So you put all this money away into the future. So, in fact, I always say you're taking money today and you're throwing it as far as you can into the future with little or no access to that money without taxes and possibly severe penalties, even if you can get access to the money, because not all of those plans give you access before you get to retirement. So if all of my savings is tied up in these long-term plans where they've told me, oh, look, you get a tax deduction. You get to reduce your income at the end of the year. I said, oh, okay. Well, what does that really mean? Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think taxes in the future are going to be higher, lower, or the same as they are today? Mike, how would you respond to that?
I think the way things are going today, hopefully they're going to be lower, right?
You hopefully they're going to be lower with $36 trillion of debt and $226 trillion of unfunded
well, if they can
liability.
cut all that, yeah, we can.
When was the last time you remember taxes ever went down in your life? Never. Okay. So if taxes are the same or more in the future, where is your benefit in those plans? Partnering with the federal government, which we now, they operate in an abusive way with our money, and they squander our money. So those plans are government partnerships. They control the money. So now you've given your money to whom? The financial people, Wall Street, big companies, banks, whatever is managing that money. And all that time, they have access to all of that money. Oh, no, wait a minute. I need to buy a car, Mike. Will you loan me some money to buy a car? Because all of my savings is tied up over here, and I don't have any access to that money to buy a car. So I guess where would I go to buy a car? Down to the bank? You know, General Motors, they finance their own automobiles. Do you know that the financial element of General Motors makes more money for General Motors than the manufacture and the sale of the automobiles?
That right.
That is a fact. Okay? So there is a lot of money to be made in that business. And they drive you right to it. I want more money ongoing, and keep it forever. So here you are. You're down at the bank or the car dealer borrowing money to buy your car. Oh, I need a furnace. $7,000. Oh, I don't have $7,000. We'll put it on the credit card that went from 18% interest to 20.4 is the average interest now since the Feds decided to raise the interest rates, and that's another story. But let me talk about the secret sauce. The secret is opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost, Tom? Well, when I spend $1, lose $1 unknowingly and unnecessarily because of the way I operate financially, that dollar has an income value. In other words, what's about the interest that dollar would have earned that I lost? The interest I paid to the bank, am I ever going to get any of it back? No. So those dollars are gone forever. So is the interest that money would have earned for the rest of your life. Here's an example. Get out of college, age 25, you go down and you get your first job, you buy a car. Dad co-signs for you. $25,000 car. I don't think that's a very fancy car today, Mike.
No,
$25,000. You're lucky you can get something new for that, probably a used car for $25,000.
Right. Yeah.
You finance it for 60 months at 8% interest. And at the end of that time, you spent $5,400 in interest. That $5,400 invested to your retirement at retirement time, it would have been worth $260,000. So that one car cost you $285,000 to buy that car over your lifetime. Now I can see it's 9:30. We got to go to the news. We'll come back and continue the story
With Tom Young from First Consultants Financial.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell. Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Tuesday, February 18th of 2025. We will have a complete Beaver County Radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver report that an accidental shooting on Pine Street in Aliquippa on Sunday is still under investigation. According to Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano, a male juvenile was taken to the hospital after suffering from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police also reported that the community is under no immediate threat. The victim is now in Allegheny General Hospital and is getting better. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that a woman has charges filed after allegedly threatening on Facebook Live to kill her 8-year-old disabled child. 42-year-old Valerie McDermott of McMinn Street was the suspect who refused arrest from officers who received calls on Monday about her. Police took McDermott to the Beaver County Jail without incident. McDermott faces 1 felony charge and 2 misdemeanor charges. Gas prices are a penny higher in western Pennsylvania this week at around $3.54 per gallon. That's according to AAA East Central's gas price report. The report states that at that week last year, the average price for gas was around $3.66. The report also notes that the average price that you can expect for an unleaded gallon of gas here in Beaver County is about $3.58. The Beaver County community is still remembering parts of a historic church that did not catch fire after New Salem Presbyterian Church was set on fire in January. Pastor Jeff Marquise has confirmed that 2 crosses survived the fire, as well as a candle that had a battery in it. Pastor Marquise said that New Salem Presbyterian Church started in 1797 and in 1850 the church was built in the area. He also has stated that the church is going to be eventually rebuilt. A Delta Airlines plane has flipped upon arrival at Toronto's Pearson Airport and ended up on its roof, injuring 18 people. The airport's chief executive says all 80 people on board survived and those hurt had relatively minor injuries. The flight from Minneapolis attempted to land on a dry runway at around 2:15 p.m. Monday in Toronto. Wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour were blowing snow at the time. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Video from the scene shows the Mitsubishi CRJ-900LR upside down on the snowy tarmac as emergency workers hosed it down. The plane was somewhat obscured by snow from a winter storm that hit Toronto over the weekend. As winter drags on, many Pennsylvanians struggle with what they may shrug off as the, quote, winter blues, but seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression caused by shorter days and less sunlight, and there are ways to manage it. Danielle Smith reports.
An American Psychiatric Association study found nearly 4 in 10 Americans feel down during the winter months. Psychiatric nurse practitioner Heather Young with UPMC Divine Hospital in Williamsport says mood fluctuations are common in winter, but when depression lingers at least 2 weeks and seems more serious, it may be time to seek help.
So lack of interest, and we talk about some people develop suicidal thoughts when their depression becomes really bad in the wintertime. Kind of just in that time frame where trying to distinguish, is this normal winter blues where people just kind of feel, the sun's changed, it's a little bit different, versus is it really seasonal affective disorder?
Young says seasonal affective disorder typically first appears in young adults between ages 20 and 30. She recommends increasing exposure to sunlight or asking a doctor about indoor light therapy. And if you feel you're in crisis, to call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
A chilly start to the morning, and it's not going to get much warmer throughout the day, but we will see some sunshine. We'll reach a high near 18 with wind chill values as low as -3. Increasing clouds tonight will drop down to a low around 7. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a slight chance of snow showers through the overnight. Look for a high near 21 and a low around 12. And breezy with a chance of snow on Thursday. We'll see a high near 22 and a low around 16. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Can tuning into a radio show really change your life? It can when you listen to Teleforum in the 9 o'clock hour, the third Tuesday of every month. Tom Young from First Consultants in Beaver will be the special guest expert and talk about how managing and thinking about the money you already have can potentially create financial freedom for many of you. You can also watch the live video stream of the show on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page.
And that's happening right now. Tom Young is the man of the hour from First Consultants. He's a financial coach, advisor, author, publisher, professional speaker, and he's still doing more. He's not resting yet. Tom Young is with us, and I hope you've got pen and paper because you should be taking notes in the last half hour, and there's more to come in the next 20 minutes. Tom?
Hey, thanks, Mike. We were talking about the 4 rules of the financial world, and it's just understanding that. Again, relating to all of this fraud and abuse and loss of our dollars through the government, how can it be any different in the financial world? And these are the people that are giving you advice. I remember in my early days, 49 years ago, in my early days, there was a story that I learned that was based on the Bureau of Labor and Statistics back then. And it was called the 100-man story. Now, it's a 100-person story today. We'll relate, ladies. There's no discrimination in my body.
No DEI.
So you are not going to be discriminated against in this story. So the Ivy League colleges, they interviewed people graduating college at about age 25, and they talked about their dreams, their goals, their ambitions, and what they hoped and dreamed that life was going to be like. However, they went back to find them at age 65, and the results were astounding, to say the least. One had become rich out of 100. 4 of them were doing pretty good, well off. They were enjoying their retirement. 5 were still working because they couldn't afford to quit. They couldn't live without their income. They couldn't survive their lifestyle. without their income. 36 have died, and 54 of them were dependent on other means for their basic survival. So 95% of the people end up dead or dead broke. And guess what? The statistics are no different today than they were 49 years ago when I started in the financial service business. Now, why is that? I mean, all the technology and 401ks and all of the great things that, oh, look at this opportunity and here's what you get to do with this. What happened? Why didn't it make a difference? Because they still have the same rules. I want all your money, more ongoing, keep forever, and give back as little as possible. Now, in all of that, there's core elements involved in the financial world. And I'm going to talk about ways you lose millions, and it's by design. The core elements in the financial world are risk, taxes, regulations, inflation, and devalue the currency. See, there's more than inflation that deals with our money, because all of the countries around the world have different currencies, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I will say, and I'll mention this before we're done today, about the quantum financial system and the gold-backed currencies that are coming worldwide, which is going to make a difference that nobody believed could be. But the way we lose money, number one, is mortgages. And if you go to, here's the mortgage story. Oh, you want a 15-year mortgage because look at all the interest you're going to save. Mike, we all have heard that because the real estate guy, you want a 15-year mortgage. Well, here's the truth. And everything I say, let me say this before I even start this story. Everything I talk about is mathematically provable. If I tell you something, it's my opinion, I will tell you it's my opinion. But anything else like this difference between a mortgage, a 15-year and a 30-year mortgage, is absolutely, positively provable mathematically. So at the end of 15 years, I bought a 30-year mortgage instead of the 15, and the difference in the monthly payment, which is substantial, I saved. So I paid the same monthly payment as the 15-year mortgage, and I saved the money. Now, along the way, I needed to buy a car, I needed to buy a furnace, and I was able to use that capital to avoid going to the bank or my credit card and running debt. Did that not save me interest? Mm-hmm. Now, when I pay for something, and this is part of, we'll get to the CFO project, but you have to treat yourself like a CFO at home. You trade time for money, you bring it home, and it's up to you to manage the money properly. So if I pay for something that is a large capital purchase, and I spend my cash, I pay cash, because I'll talk to people about this. They say, oh, I pay cash for everything. I said, I hate to tell you, but you finance everything you buy. You either pay somebody else interest to use their money, agreed? Don't you lose the interest you would have earned on your money if you spend the cash? So you cannot afford to not maximize the rate of return on your money over your lifetime if you have an expectation of being in that 4 well-off people in that 100-story. Mm-hmm. So if I pay for something, I set up an amortization schedule just like I would if I went to the bank, and I pay me back with interest. With interest? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I now capture and recapture that opportunity cost I talked about that I would have lost by paying interest to somebody else, or paying cash and not paying myself back, putting the savings back with interest. So now when I look at this and I take the big picture with mortgages, I can absolutely prove to you at the end of 15 years, you'll have enough money in your savings to pay the 30-year mortgage off if you deem it's the appropriate thing to do. And I'm telling you it's probably not, because it's not debt. The definition of debt is I purchase something that I can't pay for out of 30 days of income. So I have now earmarked future earnings that I have yet to earn to pay for something that will probably be worn out when I end up paying for it. But I have now committed future earnings that I haven't even earned yet to pay for that item by debt. But a mortgage is not debt because you have an asset that is backing the mortgage loan. And at the end of 15 years, didn't I get some tax benefits along the way because of my mortgage interest that I pay? It's the only thing where we still can deduct the interest. So there are benefits there from the interest. And what about inflation? Because if I have a mortgage payment and I have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, Mike, does my payment ever change? No.
No.
So that means as inflation causes my income to increase and the dollars increase, the cost of my mortgage is actually going down because the payment doesn't change. If you have a mortgage and you're 15 or 20 years into your mortgage, I'll bet you would agree it's easier to make the payment today than maybe it was when you first started the mortgage. Sure. So there is real benefits there. And the goal of retirement planning is really very simple. The typical one, if I put on my financial planning hat, all these initials after my name, I've taken all the courses, they would tell you that, how much do you need when you retire? Well, I don't know. How much interest do you have to earn on your money between now and then so you have enough money when you retire that it will last throughout your lifetime with adjustments for inflation? I don't know. When am I going to retire? Oh, I don't know yet. Well, how much of a lifestyle reduction are you ready to accept when retirement comes? Do I have to take any? It's going to depend on what you do. So retirement planning, as I was trained by the financial world, is setting these goals that are assumptions. And do I have to tell you what the word assume means, Mike? I think everybody understands that word. Yeah. So it's based on all these assumptions. True financial planning for retirement, true planning, is really, I want to have the most I can have when I get there. That's the only answer. I want the most I can have when I get there. Now, how do I do that? I come back to today, and I plan efficiently to not lose any more money than I absolutely have to. Learn how to hang on to my money. And that leads me to my four rules that are in my book. My book is for free. I have two books, the current books, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, and Financial Mastery Coaching, The Blueprint. Both of those books are accessible by going to CFO-project.com. That's Chief Financial Officer, CFO-project.com. Put in your name and email address. You will get an email with a link that will allow you to download both of those books cover to cover. This is life and death, folks. I mean, how would you feel? Here you are, you've got the retirement, and you realize in order to survive, you have to take a 40% reduction in your lifestyle. Could you do that, Mike? Could you just cut it by 40% tomorrow?
I don't think so.
But that's what's going to happen. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and round it off.
I'm going to quote Forrest Gump and say, I'm not a very smart man. I don't usually sit here with you, but right about now, my head's about to explode. So much information. We'll continue with Tom Young from First Financial Consultants, Inc.
It's hard to even put a title on what Tom Young at First Consultants in Beaver does. Calling him a financial planner or an insurance salesman or even a life coach still doesn't accurately describe the experience. That's because he brings dreams back to life or puts life back into retirement.
My job is to create in you the vision of the you that I think you can be, the place that I think you can get to. And you know what? I get frustrated because I see more greatness in people than they see in themselves. I see greater financial futures than they see in themselves. Most people don't believe they can get there.
Find out more by visiting firstconsultantsinc.com or engage in Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is in no way affiliated with First Consultants Inc., nor is First Consultants Inc. a registered investment advisor.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP.
When the weather turns bad, you can now do two things. First, tune to Beaver County Radio for the latest cancellation announcements, and second, go to beavercountyradio.com and access our all-new closings and delays widget that is active anytime that there are weather-related events. If snow's got you covered, so do we at Beaver County Radio. Beaver County Radio social media and beavercountyradio.com. Snowwatch is presented by Monroe Auto Body, the Lisa Latham team at eXp Realty, the cornerstone of Beaver County, and Beaver County Radio.
Got kids? Too much to do? No time to cook? Download the McDonald's app today and get dinner delivered straight to your door from DoorDash. McDonald's makes it easy for you and your family. Download the app today and get exclusive deals and rewards. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Beaver County Transit Authority connects you to where you want to be. The doctor's office or well-deserved shopping spree will take you to wherever you please. Safe, no fuss, leave the driving to us. Hop on, adventures coming your way. Beaver County Transit Authority, BCTA. Ride the bus.
Midland residents, are you looking to travel to Calcutta using public transportation? BCTA Connect is live now. This service is free until March 1st, 2025. Rides can be booked using the convenient BCTA Connect app or by calling our customer service team at 724-375-2895. See how same-day, on-demand trips can help you by riding with BCTA Connect today. Visit our website at www.bcta.com/connect for more information.
Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care, 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls. Pittsburgh Penguins hockey is back on Beaver County Radio.
Goal, right to the front right there. Carter, he scores! Big goal for Big Jeff!
Tune in all season long as the revamped Pittsburgh Penguins are on a quest to win their 6th Stanley Cup. Penguins hockey on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by St. Barnabas Healthcare System, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Patriot Home Care, Forward RX, and Beaver County Radio.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio during spring training reports as the Pittsburgh Pirates are preparing for the 2025 season. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:50 a.m., one of the Pittsburgh Pirates broadcasters will join Frank Sparks on Driving in the Fast Lane to update you on what is happening in Bradenton as the Pirates prepare to throw you on the field in 2025. Spring training reports on Beaver County Radio are brought to you by the St. Barnabas Health System, Dr. C. Timothy Lipp, Patriot Home Care, and Beaver County Radio.
And it's 7 before 10. Tom Young from First Consultants Financial is our guest for First Consultants Financial. And Tom, we got about 7 minutes left in the program.
Let me talk about the solution. Again, you can get my 2 books, The Family Money Farm, The CFO Project, and Financial Mastery Coaching, The Blueprint. Now, both of those books, the Family Money Farm has 4 stories of actual clients. The names are changed and you wouldn't recognize them, but they're 4 stories of success at multiple levels. I mean, one couple are PhDs. They're, high income people and all the way down to average, $85,000, $100,000 a year family. And the rules that I teach people work. And you can get those books, both of them, download free at cfo-project.com. You need to get those books. Again, this is a life and death thing. I don't know, in your mind, just envision you've reached retirement and you don't have the wherewithal to retire to maintain your lifestyle. You probably wish you were dead. I mean, we hear stories about people that are over retirement. They're in their 70s and 80s, and we hear stories. Why did Kevorkian become so big in what he was doing? People have no reason to live anymore if they're totally financially falling apart. So let's talk about, and I want to wind up there with my 4 rules. Number 1, your number 1 goal should be to save 20% of your gross annual income. Now, the financial world always said 10%. 10% ain't going to cut it, because that's why 95% of the people are ending up dead or dead broke, because of the financial world. It's 10%. It's just enough to keep you broke. It's like your employer. He just pays you enough to get you to come back every day. It's just never enough to get ahead. Of course, unless you're a politician like Elizabeth Warren, they make about $180,000 a year, and they were talking about her. This woman's worth $30 million. Well, I don't know about you, Mike. How do you become worth $30 million making $180,000 a year, raising a family? How does that happen? Nancy Pelosi, same thing. She's worth over $100 million. Yeah. Same $180,000 a year that everybody else makes. Why do they get so far ahead? Rule number 2, accumulate capital equal to 50% of your gross household income. Accessible capital, where you can get your hands on it. It could be in a bank account, someplace safe, or in a specifically designed life insurance policy, which is what the banks do. If you go and look at banks, their Tier 1 money, an average of 20 to 25% of the bank's core reserves are in life insurance policies. and what are we told about? Oh, never buy that whole life insurance stuff. Believe me, folks, remember, they're lying to us about what they're doing, because they do it. 50% of your annual gross income, if you think about it, would you have to borrow any money? No. You wouldn't have to run credit card balances. Right. You get the idea? So it's the basis of setting it up. Number 3, no consumer debt. If you have to buy something, a capital purchase, you pay for it, and then you set up an amortization schedule, and you pay yourself back payments with interest, just as if you were paying the bank. Again, our goal is to have the most we can have when we get to that magic date we would call retirement. And there's no other way you're going to get there and have enough money without being in the most efficient planning type of process that you can be in. Number 4, be the CFO at home, Chief Financial Officer, which means you take responsibility for the roles 1, 2, and 3 in what I'm talking about. And closing, having faith and belief is really the key to everything that we think about. And we didn't do a prayer at the beginning, and it was on there, and we'll close with it. And as we come to an end, Jesus Christ said, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him who believeth. I give unto you power over all power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." The only thing that hurts us is ourselves, because no one makes you feel anything. It's how you react and respond that determines your emotions. So your future will result from your imagination or someone else's. You have to have a dream, or someone else will. Folks, it has been great to be here today. Let your eagle fly. If you communicate with me and you want a book, I'll send you. If you send me $2 for postage, I'll send you an autographed copy of my book, The Family Money Farm, and I'll include a free gift, which is a special coin that I had created as a gold coin as a gift, and has a very special message. With that, God bless. And I think we're out of time, Mike.
Just about. How can people reach out to you?
You can find me at firstconsultantsinc.com in Beaver, firstconsultantsinc.com on the web. My calendar is on there, 724-728-6820, or Thomas Young at 1stconsultantsinc.com is my email address. God bless everybody. We'll see you here again next month. Lord willing.
You'll never run out of things to talk about, Tom.
I don't think so.
All right, thank you very much. Tom Young, every third Tuesday of the month. Tom Young is here from First Consultants, Inc., financial coach, advisor, author. He's got 5 books out there, published in several national magazines, and professional speaker. So reach out to Tom Young, and we'll see you again in a month.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.